They're at results driven.
I'm not interested, but I'm still here.
Welcome back, muchachos. Another installment of Movement Mondays here at Results Driven. Thank you for tuning in. If you like the stuff that Results Driven is providing you, giving you more information on how to train intelligently, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay up to date with all of our stuff at resultsdrivenfs.com, and feel free to like, share, and comment on our stuff.
So we've been working on a video series and focusing on the no pain, no gain mentality. This is our fourth video, or fifth, if you count the one with the two-parter. If you haven't watched those, we'll put a link in the description below. Please go back and watch them. But everything's been kind of leading to this point. So what happens when you actually have pain that shows up in your workout program?
Now, we've all heard the old adage, pain is just weakness leaving the body. And we are here to tell you, unless you are currently a Marine, I repeat, unless you are in active duty and your life is in danger, you should not be training you should not be training a painful pattern. I don't even want to say you shouldn't be training with pain.
That's where the line in the sand should be drawn. It doesn't mean that if you have pain, fitness or exercise isn't for you. It just means that if there's a specific pattern that's painful, we should not be continuing to load that pattern. Exercise in general is going to be uncomfortable at times. We just want to distinguish between muscle soreness and that general feeling of work between actual acute joint or muscular pain.
And so we want you to self-audit yourself while you're exercising. So two of the things that we use, and especially recently we've been using at Results Driven with really good feedback and results, is using breath or a postural assessment to let you know, is it the right time to exercise and am I going to be safe?
Another thing that we use to make sure you're in the right zone in terms of training is just honoring your heart rate zones. The last video we did was on how we use the MyZone heart rate monitor to measure effort, so check that out if you haven't watched it yet. If we're fancy, we put like a link here. I just don't know if I can do that. It's a car, we might not cut this, so I just want you to know what that noise was. Take note on if any movements cause discomfort, and if specific movements cause discomfort, we just want to really just eliminate that negative input.
So how should you go about this? Talk to a professional coach. It's easy when you're on your own to talk yourself out of exercising, but like Ed mentioned earlier, that doesn't have to be the case. There's still plenty of exercises that are available to you if you have some kind of painful muscle or joint issues. And even though training is still on the table, even if you are in pain or you have a painful pattern, that doesn't mean you shouldn't get it checked out. Pain is actually telling you something. It doesn't necessarily mean that something's broken or torn, but it means that further evaluation should be sought out.
Let's assume that pain is crossed off the list for you. Either you sought out some professional help, or you're actually someone who's lucky enough to not be in pain. This overall concept still matters. So avoiding working yourself into that no pain, no gain mentality or situation is also important relative to soreness. So we mentioned in our last video that tracking effort levels is going to be important to make your process sustainable. It's equally as important for somebody who's in pain and somebody who's not. One situation that it can help out is avoiding going to the point that you're overly sore all the time. When you first start a new exercise program or add in a new stimulus, muscle soreness is something that's kind of like a badge of honor. People are kind of celebrated at times, but it shouldn't affect your life in a negative way. In order for you to continue to put in the level of volume and level of work that you need to get the results you're looking for, we want to make sure that soreness isn't something that holds you back from, I was going to say lacing up your shoes, but we train barefoot. But either way, from getting back to the gym.
So what's some practical advice that you could apply to your training? The first thing, and it's just the biggest thing that we promote here at Results Driven, is find somebody who's certified in the functional movement screen. It's a 7-movement assessment that helps the practitioner understand how you move, and in terms of this conversation, it's going to help them determine if there's any painful patterns on board. If you are lucky enough to not have any painful patterns on board, it's going to help them understand where your movement deficiencies lie, so we can start to train those up and make you even better at just living life.
Everybody wants to be awesome in life. So in simple terms, the movement screen, the functional movement screen is just going to help you bucket movement. We're going to have one bucket that's your painful patterns. So having knee pain doesn't mean that you don't do anything that involves the knee. It means that we avoid the patterns that aggravate the knee and seek additional help. So we have your painful pattern bucket. We have your doesn't quite meet the cut or has some sort of asymmetry bucket. So it's the things that if we push too hard in stress, you're going to be more likely to be at risk of some sort of injury or performance plateau. And then we have that bucket where everything looks pretty good, and really what you can do is just expect to progress in those patterns.
Movement Mondays is all about addressing movement misconceptions in the fitness industry and kind of shedding some light on the way that we address them here at Results Driven. So if that's stuff that you care about, if you care about training intelligently, being safe, actually doing things what we consider to be the right way.
And maximizing results.
Maximizing results, that's important too. Sign up for our YouTube channel, subscribe, if you will, if you're going to use the hip jargon. Or visit our website, resultsdrivenfs.com.
Feel free to comment below and just let us know if there's any topics you want us to address, or if you want Mike to shave his head. I'm going to grow my hair out in my eyebrows. Later, friends. Honestly, I think I'm zoned out.
Piece of paper.
I forgot to look. So we're not saying that you do that's okay as long as we don't work yourself through a painful pattern in movement. No, I didn't go deep enough.
I was actually going to say, because I said, you shouldn't be training in pain. That's not really true.
You can have
people
pain.
are, yeah.
That's where I was going to go with it if I was not blacked out. So how'd you end that? So what we want you to do is just take note of certain movements that cause discomfort. And if specific movements cause discomfort, I'm looking up because I forgot to look. Okay. So I stopped listening. I don't listen when you talk. Not everybody's actively in pain or situation is also important relative to soreness. So we mentioned over and over again in the last video, I don't like that. In simple terms, I went from way better at life to preachy voice. Understanding in terms of how the movement screen works. If you're just putting movement, I'll get that. This is still important for you to hear because we want to make sure avoiding that no pain. Alright, I got it done. As soon as I go into preachy is when I break down. When we're just yeah, fuck it. You don't know what's in this mug, booze.
So if you want to just...
What were you going to say?